Have you ever woken up at 2 a.m. remembering something you forgot? Or perhaps you had a brilliant idea pop into your head in the middle of the day and then you lost it 10 minutes later? Stop buying productivity apps. Your iPhone, Mac, and iPad already have the solution. It's free, it's private, it's powerful, and nobody's using it. Why? Because nobody showed you how. That changes today. Most people are wasting money on apps that do less than what Apple gave you for free. Here's the truth. Apple built a complete system buried in plain sight. Today, we're uncovering it. I'm going to assume you've never touched these apps before. We're starting from zero with reminders, notes, calendar, journal, and shortcuts. No extra downloads, no subscriptions, no overwhelm. Just what you already have working together. Simple, step by step. Let's build your second brains. Here's what we're building: a system, not just apps. A place to capture time, a way to remember actions. Capture, plan, and execute. 3 simple pieces that work together so nothing falls through the cracks. This isn't about productivity hacks, it's about a peace of mind. It's about feeling in control instead of constantly reacting. Now we're gonna take this slow so it actually sticks. With that being said, most overwhelm isn't about how much you have to do. It's all about holding it all in your head. It comes from keeping mental tabs and open loops in your brain. It's the things that you're clutching onto so you don't forget. In other words, if you ever woken up at 2 a.m. remembering something you forgot early in the day, things like a call you forgot to make, appointments that are coming up, or perhaps a great idea to solve a problem. Or did you add something to your grocery list? These are all examples of random thoughts at night that stack up. And when this happens, it creates this background hum and this constant low-level stress. The truth is, your brain wasn't designed to store everything. Your brain is designed to think. And that, my friends, is what we're fixing today. So starting today, we're gonna stop using our brain like a storage unit. It's really simple. When you try to remember everything, you end up not being present for the things that matter. You're mentally somewhere else rehearsing things that you might forget. That's the real cost, not the forgetting tasks, but the mental energy and fatigue that you're spending day to day just trying to hold on. And we're gonna fix this by using the second brain. Okay, all right, let's slow down here. Second brain sounds fancy, but it's really simple. The second brain is a trusted system outside of your actual brain. That's it. The idea is you put things there so you don't have to try to remember everything. It gives all that mental clutter a place to live outside of your mind. Now those meeting notes, project ideas, things you need to do, articles you want to read, instead of living in your head, they live in a system. It's not hype. It's not complicated. It's about building a habit. We need to capture information, store it safely, and review it intentionally. And the magic happens when you actually start to trust your system. When you stop worrying, did I forget something? Because you know if it matters, you've already put it into the system. As you begin to trust the system, your mind gets quieter, you think more clearly, and you're gonna feel much more in control. Okay, here's where things get interesting. Apple already built you a complete system, not just random tools. This system has 3 jobs: to capture, to plan, and to help you execute. That's it. Everything I'm gonna show you today is gonna fit into one of these actions. Now, here's the thing that most people miss. These apps aren't separate. They're connected by default. They share information, they share timing, and they share context. And the beauty is you don't have to set anything up. Apple already did this for you. It's free, private, and it's already on your devices. You don't need subscriptions, no extra downloads, just use what you already have. Now, even though they connect together, each app has a specific role. And this is important. If you miss this, the whole thing falls apart. Reminders handles actions, notes holds information, and calendar owns time. Think of them like a team. Each player on this team has a position. When the roles are clear, the system feels effortless. Now, when these roles are blurry, that's when everything's gonna break down. So a lot of people struggle here, not because the apps are bad, but because they're using them incorrectly. Putting everything in notes or everything in reminders, trying to make one app do it all, and that's not how this works. Each app does one thing really well, and that's the design, that's the power. All right, so now we're gonna apply what we just walked through to one specific example. Pause or rewind the video if needed, as this is the foundation of the whole system. And I'm gonna give it to you in less than 1 minute. Now, let's say you need to book a doctor's appointment. You're gonna book that on your calendar. Now you create a reminder 15 minutes before it's time for you to leave for your appointment to bring your insurance card. But you were smart and you already prepared for this. You created a note with your insurance details inside of that note. So to quickly recap that example, the calendar holds the time, the reminders holds the trigger action, and notes store the context. That's the ecosystem working for you. Now, before we build anything, make sure you have iCloud Sync on. You're going to open Settings, tap your name, tap iCloud, and tap Show All. Now you want to make sure these things are turned on. Reminders, notes, calendar, and journal. We'll discuss the journal app later on. With Sync enabled, now with everything turned on, it's going to flow seamlessly across your iPhone, your iPad, and your Mac. Now here's the golden rule to making this system a success. If it pops into your head, you have to capture it immediately. Don't organize it, don't debate it, just capture it. In general, I recommend that tasks go into reminders and information goes into notes. However, at this stage, I prefer that you capture first and organize later. You could pick one of these apps to be your primary information dump and then sort it out and organize it later. Just know this will not be the most efficient way to do things, as you might be entering the same information more than once as you copy and move information from one app to another. Now, if you notice yourself having more to-do items popping in your head, then I'd say you probably want to make sure reminders is your primary brain dump. If, on the other hand, you find yourself with more chunks of information that you need to capture, then I'd say lean towards notes being your primary brain dump. But again, the long-term goal is to capture things in the correct app right in the beginning. All right, this next part is where it's going to click for a lot of people. Reminders is for doing, not storing information, and not planning projects, at least not at this stage. If it's an action, something you need to do, it belongs here in reminders. If you need to call the dentist, pay a bill, schedule an appointment, these are clear actions, clear triggers. That's it. Now let's set this up together. First thing you're going to do is open up the Reminders app. Now, if you happen to already have reminders in there, don't worry, we're organizing right now. We're not deleting. So with the app open, tap Add a List. Now you want to name your list. The first one, we're going to call it our inbox. Select what color you want it to be. And at this point, you could change what icon you want to use for your inbox. For the list type, we're going to leave this set to standard. And just like that, you've created the first place to capture your thoughts. Now repeat this process to create the following lists. You want to create a personal one for work, and one for your home or your household. Pause the video here if you need to, or rewind this section so that way you can create those additional lists. So this is how things are going to work. Now your inbox is your safety net. Everything lands here first. You can sort it out later, but items that you capture come here first, and then you can move it to one of those other lists we created later. Okay, it's time to add a reminder together. Follow along with me. Tap inbox, tap new reminder, and you're gonna put in schedule dentist appointment. Now tap that little I, turn on the date, pick a day, turn on the time, and tap done. Now the system works because it's actually gonna remind you based on the time and date that you picked. Now we're going to do a slightly more advanced reminder. You can also use your location to remind you something, not just relying on the time of day. These reminder settings are great for when you don't exactly know when you're going to be somewhere, but you know you need to be reminded to do something when you get to a specific destination. Now, Costco is one of my go-to places. It's an easy way to get overwhelmed and forget what you came in there for. Well, not anymore. We're going to create a reminder to help us with this. Now, I'm low on batteries and I want to create a reminder to buy them when I get to Costco. Okay, so we're going to follow those same steps and create another reminder. This time when we tap the I, we're going to turn on location. We're going to enter the location by name or address. Now, in our case, we want to be reminded when we get there. So let's leave this set to arriving. You should see a little map with your location and a blue circle around it. That blue circle is what we call the geofence. The larger you make that, the sooner the alert is going to pop up based off of where the map thinks the address location is based on the red pin that you see on the map. This is important to remember. All right, so you're gonna click away and you're all set. Now, when I arrive at Costco, I'm gonna get a reminder to buy batteries right when I need it versus me trying to figure out what time I think I might be at the store. Now, while we're inside the Reminders app, you might have noticed an area called Tag. Tags are gonna help you filter your reminders if you decide to use them. To do so, click the hashtag and add the tag that you want. So for this one, let's add the shopping tag to this. Now you'll see a tag added to your reminder. If you go to the bottom of your tag section in the reminder app, if you click on this new one that we created, shopping, you're going to see any reminders that have that same tag in them, so that they all appear in one spot. This allows you to see only what matters to you in that particular moment. All right, now we're going to talk about notes. Notes is your storage space. This is where information lives. Ideas, plans, reference information, things you want to remember. But here's what notes is not. It's not a to-do list. If you find yourself writing "need to call the dentist" inside a note, that's really a reminder, not a note. I want you to think about this as being the key difference. Notes provide context, reminders provide action. If you're planning a trip, the itinerary goes into notes. The action to book a flight, that is what should go into reminders. Now together they create clarity. One holds the information, one tells you what to do with it. As I mentioned earlier, it's much easier if you get this right to begin with, but you can recapture the correct information in the right app later on in the event you found you captured some information in the incorrect app. This way, if an idea comes to you at 2 o'clock in the morning, you capture it somewhere. Don't beat yourself up over not having it in the right place. You will see with time that the more you use the system, the more natural it'll be. And you're going to find yourself jotting things down in the right area to start with. Now in part 2, I'm going to show you how to automate this with one tap so information flows between them without you even having to think about it. But in order for this automation to be successful, you have to capture things in the right place to start with. But for now, just understand the roles. Notes equals information, reminders equals actions. Let's create a note with all the information that we're going to need for that appointment. But first, we need to get things set up. Open Notes, go to Folders, and I want you to create the following folders: Inbox Notes, Personal, Work, Home, and Content. Yes, another inbox, but remember, fast capture always wins. If you made it this far, you're doing great. Comment ecosystem below. Now, tap the inbox, tap New Note in the bottom right-hand corner. Now we're going to add in all the details. We're going to put in the policy number, the doctor's office, the phone number, as well as the address. Now, what's cool with notes is you can even add a photo of your insurance card. You're going to tap the camera icon, take a picture, and now you're done. You have a reminder that's going to tell you when to go and remind you when it's that time. You have a note that holds all the information that you're going to need when you get there. See how they're working together? Now, when you get there, you're not going to be scrambling for your insurance card or trying to remember that phone number. It's all right there in your note. That's the system. Now let's talk about calendar. Calendar owns time, and that's really its only job. It's not for ideas or tasks, just time. It has a specific date and a specific time. It's gonna go into calendar. Like that doctor's appointment we've been working with. It's on Tuesday at 2 p.m. That's a time commitment that belongs in our calendar. Now here's what we're doing in this video. We're keeping calendar simple. Things with confirmed times. So think about doctor's appointments, meetings, events, and deadlines. In part 2, we're going to talk a little bit about time blocking and how to schedule tasks into your calendar. But for now, we're focusing on the foundation. So we have calendar for commitments, reminders is for tasks. When you keep them separate, at least at first, you learn how each one works. And then you're going to trust the fact that your calendar is going to show you where you actually need to be. Okay, now we're going to set up your calendar. So going back to that doctor's appointment that we've been working with, let's make sure it's in the right place. We're going to open calendar. You probably already have calendars set up for personal, work, and maybe birthdays, and that's fine. Right now, let's make sure you understand how calendars work. I'm going to tap calendars. At the bottom center, you're going to see all the calendars listed. Each one should have a different color. I recommend having at least the following: personal, work, and family. Color code them so you can see at a glance what kind of day you have ahead of you. If your calendar is all one color, that's a work day. If it has a mix of colors, then that means you have some personal and some family stuff mixed in there also. You'll see that visual clarity matters. Now, if you want to add a new calendar, tap Add Calendar at the bottom of the list. You're going to give it a name. You're going to pick a color and then tap Done. Pause here if you need to and set up your calendars. Now let's add that doctor appointment to your calendar. Tap the plus icon at the top right. We're going to type in doctor appointment with Dr. Smith. Type in the location. Now the location is important because calendar will show you a map that you can use to calculate travel time, and it'll send you an alert when it's time for you to leave. You can tap all day and it'll turn that off. Now set your start time to, let's say, 2 p.m. and your end time to, let's say, 3 p.m. Now tap alert. I usually set two, one the day before and one 15 minutes before the calendar event. This way I don't forget to show up and I don't show up late. Now here's something cool. Tap notes. You can add a link to the note that we created with all your insurance information. So when you open the calendar event, you can tap right to the note that has everything that you need. So tap add, and now you're done. And here's what just happened. Your calendar knows when it is, as well as where it is and when to remind you. It's also going to let you know how long it's going to take to get there. Now you have a link to all the information you need inside that event. That's the power of calendar when you use it right. So now let's bring this all together. Let's think about that doctor appointment we just stepped through. Without a system, you'd have to remember to schedule it, where it is, what time it is, and to have your insurance information with you when you show up. That's a lot to hold in your head. Now with the system, reminders is going to tell you to schedule it. Note has your insurance information, and your calendar is going to remind you when it's time to leave. Nothing to remember, nothing to stress about. It's all in the system. This works because it's simple. 3 jobs: capture, plan, and execute. It's integrated. The apps already talk to each other. No subscriptions, no extras, no downloads, just what you already have. And most importantly, it removes friction. The easier something is, the more likely you'll actually do. When capturing a thought, just a few taps, that's all you need to capture it. When your calendar only has real commitments, you're going to trust it. When your reminders are organized by context, you'll actually complete them. And that's it. That's the system. So with that, I challenge you to start using this today, not tomorrow, today. Capture one thing in your reminders inbox right now. Add one event to your calendar this week. Create one note in your notes app with information that you need. Who knows? Maybe it's something for an appointment that you have coming up. Maybe it's a number that you always forget, or instructions for something. This system only works if you use it. Here's what we're building next. In part 2, we're taking this system to the next level. We'll cover shortcuts and automation so you can capture thoughts with one tap, time blocking so you can schedule your tasks and protect your time, and the journal app for reflection and gratitude at the end of each day so nothing falls through the cracks. We're going to continue building on what you learned today. That is your foundation. If this was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss part 2. Drop a comment with what you're going to capture first. I'll see you in the next one.